Ready to collapse time, crush limitations, and turn potential into reality? This is a journey through real lessons from those who've walked the path before you. Welcome to Layers of Leadership, hosted by Dr. Michael Marion Jr.
Welcome to Layers of Leadership. My name is Dr. Michael Marion, and I have the honor and pleasure to be with Preet Didbal Bedford, a local individual who has done phenomenal things in Sacramento region, 25 plus years in public service, originally from Yuba County. Not only that, you were one of four girls?
Yes.
Okay, one of four girls. Yes. Family originally from India.
Yes.
Went to Sac State where you got your master's in physical education and physical therapy. And then also on to University of San Francisco for your master's in administrative health services.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Not only that, you have a daughter that is killing it as well, doing some amazing things in politics. Yep. And not only that, you were the first Sikh mayor. Really?
Uh-huh.
That's incredible. And vice mayor.
Yeah, and first Sikh American.
First Sikh American.
Not first mayor, but first Sikh American.
That's
female.
Incredible. Mm-hmm. And so thank you for coming on the Layers of Leadership podcast. I'm looking forward to getting into it, hearing your story, hearing your journey, and just hearing your plight as a leader in this community and all the great work. So welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I like the jacket, here. Very fashionable. So I was trying to think. I want to say I think I met you during some work we had done during the Sacramento Metro Chamber at some point. And then obviously in Cap to Cap, where I spent some time with you in Washington, D.C. And so politics, is that something that has always been in your sphere of interest?
Never.
Okay. Okay.
Like you said, I went to school and graduated with physical education and physical therapy. So my passion was actually physical therapy, and really, seeking that out and working with patients.
Okay.
Particularly cardiac patients. And
got it.
Because my father was a cardiac patient.
Was he?
Yeah. So for me, it was more doing work with the hands. Originally, I wanted to be a cardiologist.
Okay.
And path had changed, but I still wanted to touch the body and do something physically, hands-on to care for people. But my journey kind of took me in a different direction. And so from that, by the time I did my bachelor's, and I was by a professor who really, really encouraged me to take this position with corrections, and ended up, as I was kind of a permanent intermittent employee, which was kind of in between like a part-time, waiting to get into my master's program, ended up really loving what I could do on the public policy side of it.
Wow.
Changing our exam systems for potential correctional officers. And so my career really started with corrections, and that sent me through a whole different path. And I decided to do my master's at the time in health administration, public policy. So
my goodness,
decided to do that. And my career has just launched from there.
That's incredible. Well, I know that you've won like the Distinguished Alumni Award from Sac State. You got a Woman of the Year award. Like you're going all over the country speaking on STEM stuff. Like you're doing some amazing things. But before we jump too deep in that, let's take it back. Yuba County or Yuba City. Let me get it right. Yep. Born and raised in Yuba.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Yep. Well, Yuba City is a small town.
Okay.
Well, at the time it was, but now, populations is about 80,000. So
really?
It has grown.
That's significant.
Quite a bit.
If you would have asked me, I would have said, I wouldn't imagine Yuba was up to about 80,000.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, but when I was there, it was, smaller growing up. It was more of an ag, still is mostly ag, but there's a lot of healthcare as well. And we have North Beale Air Force, so we have a lot of our Air Force service members there as well. But I worked the fields along with my parents. My parents were, immigrants from India.
Okay.
And they didn't have a higher education, didn't even speak English. And so
Really?
their work was really working our fields.
Okay.
So we didn't own any property, but, they were the peach pickers and
Oh, my
prune
goodness.
pickers and tomato fields, strawberry fields, walnuts.
Okay.
And during the summertime, I typically helped my parents.
Okay.
Again, just to help with, bills or just being a part of, giving into the family. And I was raised in a very Indian culture.
Okay.
So the Sikh culture. So I didn't have all of the same kind of experiences that my American white friends had.
Oh.
So I've never been to a football game, never went out to lunch or
You've never
dinner.
been to a football game?
No athletics.
Wow.
So very, very loved
Okay.
as far as just family, but I didn't have the same experience as my American white friends. So
Was that hard?
it was hard, but again, like I said, loving environments, you don't realize what you don't have.
Yes.
So, you just kind of make do. Now, I'll tell you, English being a second language for me, it took longer for me to get my homework done. I didn't have parents to talk to, didn't know the resources that we had in our schools, if there were any, mentorship or, tutoring and things like that. So yeah, it was a challenge in that way, but you didn't feel it at the time.
Oh,
that
my
makes
goodness.
any sense.
Nah, as a inner city kid that didn't come from much, I can understand 100% in the sense of having a loving family. Like, I would absolutely trade having a loving family for money. Nope, I would absolutely stay with a loving family. Because I think that gave me such a huge foundation. What about you?
In total agreement. Yeah, it gave me the foundation even during my challenges in adulthood, that foundation to this day still holds me together.
That's
it's
important.
really, really important. Raising a daughter, it was the same thing to be able to give that framework, to provide, if not the resources, if I'm not able to at least give resources, I think the greatest resource is your love and your support.
Yes.
And so for me, that's what that taught me is that we can be of service to others at whatever capacity that may be.
Wow. Yeah.
And so sometimes it's just holding somebody's hand. Sometimes it's saying a kind word, and sometimes it's money.
Yeah.
So feed
That's big.
somebody. Yeah.
That is big. So how was it for your family, and how did your parents select Yuba? Is it a large Sikh community in Yuba, or what was that process?
Yuba City is, like I mentioned earlier, it's an ag place.
Okay,
And so that's why a lot of the Indian population did end up in Yuba City because of the ag.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, working peach fields and so forth, walnuts and things like that. That's what, India, as far as their experience has been. So the Indian population actually gravitated towards Yuba City. So that's where they landed.
Okay.
And a lot of their friends, this was back in the 60s, so a lot of folks that were migrating from India were actually landing in Yuba City, and it's known as Little India for those reasons. So there's a lot of Indian farmers in the area, and so so it became its own little community. So there's neighborhoods that are, pockets where it's all Indian, so the language became very easy.
That's cool.
Community support with one another. Us as 4 kids, you can neighborly to neighbor. You can leave your kids and not worry about it. You could run down the street, not worry about it, like you were in your own little community. So there was a lot of safety in that sense.
That's
too.
big. It's big to be able to have community and have people that look like you and you speak like you, dress like you, talk like you. To be able to have that village to be able to support you. Yeah. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and it's not as diverse as I'm sure people know that, but I had a community that was very, very much heavily African American, Northeast Portland, and I commend you 100% and agree with what you're saying. Is how much when you have a community of people that look like you, support you in your growth and your development, especially if the outer skirts of the community may look a little bit different.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
This episode is brought to you by Systems to Solutions. Think smarter, work better. Welcome to Systems to Solutions.
For me, school was different. I wasn't able to do a lot of the stuff that the other kids were able to do because I had my culture was very tight knit. So, and especially as a girl, young girl growing up, we had a lot of limitations just in that. So, no sports. You go to school, you come home, you do your chores, you learn your domestic role. It's important. My parents came here for the American dream. Like, we want our kids to go to school. We want them to get an education and give them a life better than what we had. So, and I think that's true for any parent. But for me growing up, the challenge was always, how do I balance this? And I'm growing up in an environment that what I see my friends doing, I can't do, but I don't have an understanding for it. So there was always conversation, but not any direct answers other than that's just the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Just the way it is. So until later in my adulthood, close to my 30s, where I really had regaining my relationship with my parents after a long journey to talk with my dad. And for the first time, he had said, I raised you the only way that I know how. And that is the way that my parents raised me, or, like my grandparents raised him in India, because he came here as an adult.
Wow.
So he said, all I did, and he said, I thought I was doing a good job. But I didn't realize that coming out to America with a different culture, that my kids aren't going to see this culture. They're going to see a different culture, but how do I blend that? So the challenge for us was that friction of, well, Dad, why can't we?
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. And never having that understanding until those later years when he said it's time for me to back up and learn from my kids. But now, he has grandkids, so he said from my grandkids more so.
Got it.
So, and that changed our trajectory of where our life was leading after that.
That's huge. That's huge that you were able to have that conversation and him to be able to acknowledge, like, hey, I'm doing what I was raised and this is the best I could do at this moment.
Yeah.
Wow. So high school. Tell me about high school in Yuba. Were you involved with any leadership stuff? Because I'm still trying to find a connection here of politics and all of that. So was at that time, was it still go to school, do the work, and come back home, or?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was. You focus on your school, like all my, free periods. I would be in the science lab. I would be in the chemistry lab, or the library. I was the nerdy kid, right?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm having a hard time believing that, but okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But it's also that journey, really, Mike, that also taught me and gave me the experience that I needed to be who I am today, to even further my career in my own way.
Got it.
So, yeah, high school was still very much, I'm just older, but still under the same situation of going to school, coming home. Like I said, I've never been to a basketball game, football game, any school activities, wanted to join, the track and field because I love running. I couldn't do it. So I was very, very sheltered in that way. But I also knew that there was, I'm going to get really good grades and I'm going to go to college.
Got it.
So my whole determination was I'm going to college. I'm going to college.
Get out of here, go to college.
I'm going to college.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
And so tell me about that journey from transitioning from high school to college. Was it like, I got to apply for a ton of scholarships, or was it like, tell me your journey?
Yeah.
Did you were like, oh, I'm going to San Diego, or what was your college experience?
Yeah, well, I wanted to go to a university.
Okay.
So it was really important for me, at least for me, to go to a 4-year university system. And I did everything that I could to get there. So when it came down to applications, I actually got accepted.
Okay.
Got accepted
Nice.
to Berkeley. I got accepted
Excellent.
to UC Davis. I got accepted to UCLA. When it came down to it, culturally, it hit me again. So
Really?
yeah, and so in our culture, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's arranged marriages.
Yeah.
So when that time came, I was graduating at the age of 17, and it came down to, okay, great, you're going to college, but you need to get married first.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a second.
Yeah.
You have to get married before you go to college?
Yeah. Or at least have an agreement with another family. So in arranged marriages, it's
Okay.
about the family. So we need to work all of that out.
Oh,
and
my
then, you know what?
goodness.
You can go ahead and go, no problem. And that became an issue for me.
I could imagine.
So, and that was the first time that I became vocal about what I was feeling.
Okay.
That was my true, self coming out.
Okay.
I'm not okay with this. And for the first time, I told my parents no. Everything else up to this point was, whatever you want, right? But this was the first time I was
Wow.
I was straight out, no, I'm not doing this.
How was that?
It was not good.
Was it just one day you were just like, hey, I had it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this anymore.
We ended up with a compromise.
Okay.
We did end up with a compromise. It was challenging, but ended up that the choice was you get married, you can go,
Okay.
or you don't get married. And I said, well, if I don't get married, then what are my choices? So they said, you can go to college here. And again, remember, they didn't have an education, so they didn't really know the systems. So it's like, well, we have a college here, which is our community college, and nothing wrong with community college, but that wasn't where I wanted to go. But that was the compromise that, okay, I'm not going to get married, but I will go for the 2-year
Okay. Yeah.
degree, and you have 2 years to figure this out, because after 2 years, I'm going. And so at that time, Yuba College had a program where you can go here as a transfer student, then go ahead and go to UC Davis. So I honored that. I said, you know what? I will choose to go to UC Davis, being that it's 45 minutes from Yuba City. I said, Dad, Mom, this will be good. I won't go far, but I'll do the 2 years. You guys figure it out, but I'm not doing this arranged marriage thing. I'm not doing this.
So how did your parents receive that?
It was okay.
Okay. Good.
I went that direction. They were fine with it. They needed to figure out the rest.
Got it.
And so I went to school, did the same thing, went to college, would come home, not getting involved in anything, going.
Wow.
And so I got my 2-year degree, my AA, and that particular summer. Unfortunate situation that I went through, sexual assault. I was raped during a celebration, again, saying no to my parents, and went somewhere where they told me I shouldn't go. And so the end, that's what happened. And it's something that changed the trajectory of my life once again.
Absolutely.
And that's what kind of tore the family apart.
Okay.
And so at that point is when I had to start making some of my own choices. So I hit rock bottom in many ways. I did end up going to Davis, and grades fell.
Sure.
Dropped out, and then pretty much hit rock bottom at that point, a couple of years. And it was a choice. Am I going to live? Am I not going to live? Literally. And so from that point is when I had to make a choice.
Wow.
And so I decided that the one thing that nobody can take away from me is my education.
Yes.
So again, that became my grounding. So I wanted to still touch the body.
Yes.
And I wanted to be a cardiologist, but figured, okay, at this time in my life, maybe that's not the thing but what can I do to still touch the body and care for someone?
Yes.
So physical therapy is the route that I thought, okay. So I wanted to find one class where I can touch the body. So
Okay.
believe it or not, I found a human anatomy course outside of medical school where I can actually touch the human body.
Outside of school?
Outside of med school.
Really?
Because a lot of times for anatomy courses that you actually have cadavers and body parts to work on, not to be sick, outside of medical school, those are hard to find.
Wow.
And I found one. So I chose that I was going to take the one class, and Mike, you could not get me out of that lab. I
get you
was
out.
cutting down cadavers, working on body parts, coming back with formaldehyde smell on my,
Oh, yeah.
you know. And I said, this is it. This is it. So I pursued that. So that's when I decided to go to Sac State.
Okay.
And they had just opened a new physical therapy program. Wow. Brand new. The building that I was in, Solano, had just got built, so we were the first class.
Okay.
I got accepted, went on in, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. Wow.
Yep. So the leadership really was taking leadership of my own life.
There it is. There it is. First of all, Preet, I have to say, I'm sorry. That is horrible. It's not cool, but you figured it out, which is incredible because, as you know, some people don't, and some people don't find their way back after something like that. What was it that you were able to do to help yourself be able to move on? What was it for you? Was it education?
It was.
It was?
It was. It gave me my power back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Education gave me my power back. So taking that one class really just, I felt alive again.
There we go. There we go.
Even though it was one class, it was like I could read, I could, you know, I picked up a real heart. You know, and my experience from that led me to go into a hospital and watch a live surgery. You know,
So hold on, you picked up a real heart?
a real heart.
Oh, no.
I'm not kidding.
No.
I'm not kidding.
That's when I would have passed out. Wow.
So it's just this experience that just really it empowered me. Like, you can't take that away from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was when it was one thing after the other, you know.
My goodness. Wow.
Student loans up the yin-yang, but, you know, I said I'm going to do this.
Which I think, you know, in all seriousness, I think when you think about the sacrifice of getting an education, you know, especially now, because you have a lot of students that are saying, hey, I don't want to deal with that debt. Like, I don't, you know, I go to college and then I come back and I live with my parents and I can't find a job and I have all this crazy amount of debt. What was it for you to say, you know what, I'm going to take this debt because this is what I want to do? What was your kind of thinking around that?
I think for me it was, what am I going to do with this, right? So the end goal.
Okay.
You know, I can't go and get myself a high-paying job or be in the industry that I want to be if I don't pursue this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to have student debt, but how many of us have credit card debt on clothes?
Yeah.
How many of us are looking to buy that car? That do we really need to buy that car if we can do something else? We're willing to take other sacrifices and not sacrifice our own education, you know? So for me, it was just, like I said, it was giving myself my power back and leading myself in the life that I wanted.
Okay.
And I didn't have anybody to depend on.
Got it.
So I was like, either I'm going to get my shit together,
Yeah.
excuse my language,
No, you're good.
or I'm gonna shrivel away.
Yeah.
And there's nobody here that's gonna care.
Yeah.
They didn't care before, so they're certainly not gonna care now. So do I care enough about myself
Yes.
to do it? So when it came to student debt, I was like, I'm okay with that. And I did the same thing with my daughter. It's like, you know what? I will pay for whatever I can, get you up to that point, which I was fortunate enough to be able to pay for her college. But when she decided she was going to do her master's, I'm like, we'll figure this out.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a student loan because I can't support you in that, but I will be there for you in any way. So She has a student loan, but you know what? She is out there doing her thing.
She is.
So for me, it's like that's the empowerment that I want our young folks or anyone who is debating with themselves and negotiating with themselves whether education is something that they want to pursue or not. What's the life that you want?
Yes, absolutely. I love it. So let's speed ahead a little bit. So I need to understand, because I'm still searching to figure out how this political thing started on your journey. So where did that come from?
Yeah, so I'll get you there. Okay.
I'm searching. I'm like, where is it?
So while I was at corrections and so forth, and I just was working my way up, just kept on going up. And then I got my master's. And, I, at the same time, was trying to build my relationship back with my parents. Like I said, I had lost all of that. And I was no longer in Yuba City. So I was here in the Sacramento area. And I wanted to get that relationship back with my parents. So that was important to me. So again, it's up to me, my choice, and am I going to do this or not? So it took me 4 drives. 4 drives to Yuba City.
Really? Okay.
Before it got me to the point where I could take my feet out of the car and actually walk down the street where I lived. Wow. So up to that point, it was really hard. I didn't think that I was going to return back to Yuba City, but my motivation to have my relationship with my parents outweighed anything at that time.
Wow.
So it took that. Once I started talking with my dad and mom and getting that relationship back, one of the conversations in that was, Dad, even though everything shattered in Yuba City, there's also this grounding for me in Yuba City. Yeah. I would not have the life that I had if it didn't give you the opportunity to be here and build your life.
Yeah.
So I am indebted to Yuba City in that way, that it also did give me the life that I do have. So I try to find gratitude in that. And I said, Dad, I want to do something for the community.
Okay.
But I don't know what.
Wow.
So I ran into, through work, a former mayor.
Okay.
Of Yuba City and a board of supervisor. And he was kind of like a mentor to me.
Okay.
And he said, you would make a great planning commissioner.
Make a great?
Planning commissioner.
Okay.
And I said,
what is that?
Right. So he told me about it, and I said, okay, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. And he said, well, it would be a great way if you want to do something for the community. Mm-hmm. So long story short, there ended up being a vacancy, and I ended up applying for it. And, I questioned my dad. I'm like, but they don't know me. Usually a planning commissioner, the board of supervisor knows somebody, and then, they get. And my dad said, get your package ready. If anything that I've taught you is just put yourself out there. Then
you've been in the community.
Go do it. Yeah. So I put my package together and I knocked, on the board of supervisors' door, with his secretary, and she goes, "Do you have an appointment?" And I said, "No, I don't." And he happened to be walking by.
No way.
Yep. And so I said, "Oh, I just was interested in the position." So I ended up applying. The first time I applied, I did not get it.
Okay.
The second time I applied, I got it. And I was the first female to sit there, first Indian female again. And it wasn't looked upon well, just because it was just, well, who is she? Where'd she come from? But I did my job. And I also had a little child. Okay. And so I would bring her, at the time I was separated, and I would bring her to the Planning Commission. So she's little, 3-4 years old.
Love it.
And so I was that mom who walked in my business suits, briefcase in one hand, child in the other, and everybody's just like, who is this person? Mm-hmm. And I would sit her in the front, and she'd have her little coloring book, and I would go ahead and be a part of, the board meeting, and she'd fall asleep. That was our life. So she went everywhere with me, and from that point, I wanted to do more.
Okay.
So I ran for board of supervisor. and I lost.
Okay.
I just wanted to do more.
Okay.
And then I ended up being a liaison. So I stayed as a planning commissioner, and I wanted to do more in the city versus the county, because since I was part of the city, more internal. So they ended up making me a liaison for the city as well as a planning commissioner. And then I turned around that I ended up getting the planning commission position. There was a vacancy, got that one. I had to resign from this side and vice versa. It was just all crazy in the red tape of it. But from not getting the board of supervisor position, right before my dad passed away, he said, don't give up. If this is in your heart, don't give up.
Wow.
So I didn't. So he passed away, but I ran for my second term or second election, and I ended up winning. So in 2014. So really, Mike, it just came down to I wanted to give back in a way to a place that I do have gratitude for, because I wouldn't be sitting here, period, if it wasn't for that. If my parents didn't have the opportunity to come here, I'm indebted to Yuba City for those reasons.
So I'm seeing a pattern, and I think it's a pattern of resilience.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm noticing that with you. Like, all right, you know what? This happened. We're going to keep on fighting. This happened. We're going to keep on fighting. This opportunity didn't work out. It's all right. I'm going to re-up. I'm going to do it again. Yeah. Where do you get that from?
Probably my parents.
Tell me more.
Probably my parents. I think, I didn't respect it as a young kid.
None of us did.
Right? But I think the older that I got, I saw them as, these are two parents who just worked really hard, and they didn't get everything easy. A lot of things not easy, right? But they would go and work those damn fields in the hot. We complain when the AC's not working. We have a swamp cooler, and they're working in the orchards. 115 degrees out there, coming back with this fuzz, itchy, skin, just. But they always had love. Like, they just showed love, and they would get up every day to do the same. They took care of cousins, my dad's nephews, when they hit rock bottom. They were there for people, but they just always had that glow about that. In our culture also, as Sikh, one of our things is seva, which seva.
Okay, seva.
Seva means serve others. That is like a principle of ours. Wow. And you don't see that a lot around. But my parents did that. Every single moment that they had, they would be at the temple, they would cook meals, they would leave meals there for anybody to come and eat off the street. We did a lot in the community in a way, and so I think even through their hardship, there was always that. So I think my resilience really comes from that, really the framework from that. But then, as I got older, you don't get a yes all the time. So are you going to give up because somebody said no to you? Are you going to give up because you didn't get something? And then I think my rock bottom to, have my face in a dark carpet, smelling my own vomit, and having to decide, well, am I going to live or am I going to die? So I think that's just, and once you make that one step, you're like, I could do anything. Not to sound cocky, but it's just, you can do anything. People will, my dad said something, which actually Michelle Obama ended up saying as well. When you go high, they'll try to bring you down. And my dad said that, just preach, just trust people, but just be careful.
That's big. That's a jewel there.
So I think my resilience just comes from that, just recognizing and just wanting to always learn that you don't have all the answers. Just don't take no for an answer.
Wow. As we start to close, I'm interested. Kind of what's next? What are you up to? What are you doing? What does the future look like for you?
I'm still doing leadership, so I teach. I teach leadership. Just designed a Women in Leadership global program.
Really?
Yep.
Give me the rundown.
Yep. So it's with Holt University, but it's with au pairs.
Okay.
And so it's a global program. just launched that and having really good turnout.
Okay.
Matter of fact, now just got 2 more offerings to do 2 more. So having those sessions be 3 times a year.
Okay.
But that's where my passion is, to be able to help particularly young women to rise, to just rise. And this is for young boys too, or young men as well. But we still have a lot of challenges as women out there.
Yeah.
You know, we still sit at the table many times being the only ones.
Absolutely.
And we still have to repeat ourselves multiple times to get our voice across. I still face it today, you know. And I think culturally and societal norms are very, very strong. And so how do we continue to work on that? And it's developing our young women to not take no for an answer. And so if I could be that voice out there to help, that's what I want to do. And I want to see young folks feel that they can change the world. Change the world. If you don't like it, do something about it.
Yes.
Just do something.
I think
don't
you're a
care
prime
what it is,
example.
Just do something.
Yeah. So if there's a little girl out there, little girl of color, maybe Sikh, who wants to go in the direction in which you've gone, what advice would you give her?
First of all, her path is going to be her own path.
Yes, of course.
My advice to her would be, again, I know this sounds really weird, but just follow your heart. What is your heart telling you that you really want to do? Like, what's that? Find that passion. What ignites you?
Yeah, love it.
You know, and it could be something that you do every day, but you don't realize that this is what your passion is. This is what puts that smile on you, and you can be that energy for somebody else. And so, what is that? Take time to figure that out, and don't beat yourself up if you don't have the answer right away. Keep an open mind.
Yes.
Don't think that the no, and you're going to get no's. Just understand that.
That's a part of it. Yeah.
That's a part of it. But don't let that say it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Because you have it in you to change the world in whichever way that you want to. Whichever way that you want to.
I love that.
So.
Recommendations, books, podcasts, something that you've always went to as some type of motivation in your leadership journey that you would pass on?
This is going to sound woo-woo.
Woo-woo, okay.
But I love self-help books.
Okay.
And I think that was part of, like, when I was going through my lowest of points, those are the books that really helped help me look on the other side.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So finding whatever that is. Currently, I'm reading some of Adam Grant's books.
Okay.
And those are, think again.
Yeah.
Keep an open mind. You don't have all the answers. See the other perspective.
Yes.
Hidden potential. You don't know what your potential is, because there is no high. Just keep going, right? Like, figure that out. So those are the books that I'm currently reading, and I think those lend very heavy into my leadership series right now too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to hire you as a coach or have you come speak, how can they find you?
They can find me. You can reach me directly.
Okay.
I can give you my email. Reach directly to me, and then we'll figure out the rest. I do have a website out there, but we're kind of updating things on that. But it's Redefine and Empower.
Redefine and Empower.
Yeah. But just directly.
All right.
Reach out.
I appreciate it. Well, Preet, thank you for taking the time and sitting with me on Layers of Leadership.
Absolutely.
I'm sure this episode is going to go viral with some powerful stuff that you offered. So thank you so much.
Oh, Mike, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.